Hey, Bearded Bryan.
Hey.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Good. Well, here you are. We got you here with us.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Could you say hi, Bearded Bryan?
How's it going, everybody? Can you hear me?
Man,
Can you hear me now?
I haven't actually seen you in many years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay, so Bearded Bryan is coming to us from Austin, Texas right now. How's the weather, Bearded Bryan?
It's hot. It's hot.
Wow. Thanks for being with us. You're track 5 on the album. Now, Bearded Bryan, before I forget to ask you, this is going to sound like a funny question, but why are you Bearded Bryan?
I see constant beard. Either beard or goatee. It's one or the other.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't think I've ever known you without either of those. Now, when you were young, when you were, pre-puberty, did you still have the beard?
Well, no.
So did you just
Wasn't born with it.
Did you draw it on at that point?
I might have just penciled it in, yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. So, Bearded Bryan, you sent me some pretty cool tunes. Tell me what you sent.
Wow, I sent a whole lot of things. My music tastes are pretty much all over the map. So I think one of the best ones so far that kind of described like my taste was the one with the remix stuff.
Well, we had the Avalanches. That's probably what you're referring to.
Avalanche.
Yeah. Now that I tell you, once you sent me that track, that's when I knew I wanted you on the album. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Avalanches, but it's a really cool group. They're very sample based, and the music, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like somewhat of a Beastie Boys influence, which that's all. I'm all about the Beastie Boys, but it's this crazy video and all these weird samples mashed together. It's a really great song. You also sent me another one of my personal favorites, and I've actually met him before, RJD2.
Yeah.
Ghostwriter.
Really
Yeah, he's really cool. So that was like, yeah, I dug that. You sent me a Beardy Man track, which is dubstep, which I absolutely loved, but I actually, it's this kind of weird track where the first half of it's like this strange Eastern European sounding thing, and then the second half of the track gets into like dubstep. So I didn't take the dubstep part. We're going to get to that later in the album. I wanted the weird, quirky, sample-based thing. Now, we're getting a little technical with some of these interviews. For this particular song, I used Ableton Live. Traditionally with my albums, I've only used Pro Tools, but I wanted to reach out and do an Ableton Live track. And this one was pretty much mostly sample-based. Now, unfortunately, one thing that happened while I was working on this album is my hard drive crashed. And all the samples that I've collected for a very long time, including ones on your track, I've lost, which really sucks. So what sucks about Ableton Live is that when you have an Ableton Live session up, it's linking to those files. So I fortunately had bounced down a version of it, just a rough version, before I lost my hard drive. But the problem was, that was it. What I had was what I was going to get. If I didn't, have that, I wouldn't have the song at all. I don't have any of those samples anymore. So what we're going to actually hear and what's going to go on the final album, I'm very spiritual when it comes to music. And I feel like things happen for a reason with music. And I feel that the changes I was planning to make to your song, I should not make. And so I decided I'm just going to leave it as is, the mix the way it is. It kind of adds this weird flavor to it because it is so rough and has like these little strange sounds that shouldn't be there. So that's one thing that's really interesting about your song. It's in a different program, so it's going to sound a little different. And then it wasn't meant to go on the album quite yet, but it's going to go on it anyway. Now, I want to answer one question before I play it, and that is, you're going to hear a weird sound. That sound is actually called Chinese flute. And the reason I decided to use Chinese flute is because as I was working through the album and looking for samples, I kept coming across this damned folder. And I don't know why, but I'd always look in it just thinking there might be something there. Even though I knew what I was looking for, it wasn't there. It was just these Chinese flute samples. And so I was like, you know what? This is a sign. I need to put Chinese flute in this song. And it's going to sound really weird. There's no reason for there to be Chinese flute, but it's there.
I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Bearded Bryan, are you ready to hear your track?
Ready.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I bring you here in Los Angeles, California, and in Austin, Texas, my former home, Bearded Bryan.
Awesome.
So, Bearded Bryan, was it okay?
Love it. Love the beats.
Yeah, well, hopefully you'll get to hear the you'll be happy with the real thing when you get to hear it on your computer and such. It's a pretty crazy track, a lot of stereo stuff happening too.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait to. I could kind of hear it a little bit in the mix, like in the background. It's kind of hard to hear over this side, but I know there's something back there though.
Oh, there's something back there, all right. Thank you so much for being a part of this project.
Hey, no problem. Glad to be there, part of it.